Introduction. At the heart of every human being lies a wellspring of infinite potential, wisdom, and power. This inner source has been called many names throughout history: God, the higher self, the divine spark, the infinite mind, but its essence remains unchanged. It is not something outside of us that we must seek in distant temples or doctrines. Rather, it dwells within each of us, waiting to be awakened. Emmet Fox, one of the most influential thinkers of the New Thought movement, devoted his life to uncovering this truth. In works such as the Sermon on the Mount and Power Through Constructive Thinking, he illuminated the path to self-mastery through the realization of our divine nature. His teachings, grounded in Christian mysticism, yet deeply universal, offer a roadmap to living from the highest version of ourselves. In this chapter, we explore the core of Fox's message: that the unconscious mind is not merely a repository of forgotten memories or suppressed emotions, but rather the gateway to the divine. By understanding and aligning with this deeper level of consciousness, we gain access to healing, abundance, peace, and spiritual fulfillment. Let us begin by examining what the unconscious truly is and how it connects us directly to the source of all life. Section 1. Understanding the unconscious mind. For centuries, the unconscious mind was regarded with suspicion. Early psychologists described it as a dark, chaotic realm filled with repressed desires and irrational impulses. Sigmund Freud famously portrayed it as the site of hidden conflicts, while Carl Jung expanded it into a collective domain of archetypes and shared symbols. But Emmet Fox took a radically different view. To him, the unconscious was not a battleground of primal forces. It was the seat of our connection to God. He taught that the unconscious mind is the channel through which we receive inspiration, guidance, and creative power. It is the part of us that listens when we are silent, heals when we surrender, and acts when we believe. Fox often referred to the unconscious as the Christ within, a term rooted in Christian theology, but applicable across spiritual traditions. Just as Jesus spoke of the kingdom of heaven being within, Fox insisted that the presence of God resides in every individual, accessible through faith and conscious alignment. So, what exactly is the unconscious mind? It is the vast reservoir of thought beneath our everyday awareness. While the conscious mind deals with logic, reasoning, and immediate perception, the unconscious governs automatic functions, emotions, habits, and deeply held beliefs. It is also the field where intention becomes reality. When you think a thought, especially repeatedly, it sinks into the unconscious. There, it begins to shape your experience. Positive thoughts attract positive outcomes. Negative thoughts bring limitation and suffering. This is the foundation of the law of attraction, not a mystical secret, but a psychological and spiritual principle. By learning to work with the unconscious mind, we can transform our lives from the inside out. Section 2. The power of suggestion and affirmation. One of the most practical tools Fox offered for working with the unconscious is the use of suggestion and affirmation. These are not just feel-good statements. They are powerful instruments of change when used correctly. A suggestion is simply a thought planted in the mind. When repeated consistently and believed, it takes root in the unconscious and begins to manifest in the physical world. Affirmations are positive suggestions designed to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Fox emphasized the importance of formulating affirmations carefully. They should be stated in the present tense, as if the desired outcome is already true. For example, instead of saying, "I hope to get better," one would say, "I am whole and well." He also advised practitioners to speak these affirmations aloud, with feeling and conviction. The voice carries energy, and when combined with focused attention, it strengthens the impact of the words. Here's a simple affirmation practice inspired by Fox's teachings. Choose a specific area of your life you wish to improve: health, finances, relationships, etc. Formulate a short, positive statement that reflects the ideal state. Repeat it daily, ideally at the same time and place. Visualize yourself already experiencing the result. Let go of doubt and trust the process. Through consistent use of affirmations, you begin to reprogram the unconscious mind. Over time, new beliefs take hold, and the outer world adjusts accordingly. But Fox warned against using affirmations mechanically. If you repeat them without genuine belief, they will have little effect. The key is to engage both the intellect and the emotions, to not only say the words, but to feel their truth. Section 3. The role of faith and imagination. Faith and imagination are twin forces that shape reality. According to Fox, faith is not blind belief in something unseen. It is the confidence that what you desire is already yours in the spiritual realm, waiting to manifest in the material world. Imagination, meanwhile, is the creative faculty through which ideas become real. It allows us to visualize the future we want and impress that vision upon the unconscious mind. Fox often quoted Jesus' words, "All things are possible to him who believes." He interpreted this as a direct instruction to cultivate unwavering faith in the power of the mind to create. Many people struggle with faith because they try to force it. But true faith arises naturally when we understand that the universe supports us. It grows stronger when we align our thoughts and actions with our highest ideals. To develop faith, Fox recommended regular meditation and quiet reflection. These practices help still the noise of the external world and attune us to the inner voice of wisdom. Imagination, too, requires cultivation. Creative visualization, seeing clearly in the mind's eye what we desire, activates the unconscious and sets the wheels of manifestation in motion. Together, faith and imagination form a dynamic duo. With them, we can overcome fear, dissolve doubt, and open ourselves to miracles. Section 4. Healing through the unconscious. Perhaps one of the most transformative applications of Fox's teachings is in the realm of healing. He firmly believed that illness is not random or punitive, but rather the result of mental and emotional patterns that have taken root in the unconscious. Every thought we entertain affects the body. Negative thinking weakens the immune system, while positive thinking strengthens it. Chronic stress leads to disease. Inner peace promotes healing. Fox taught that to heal the body, we must first heal the mind. This does not mean denying medical science, but rather integrating it with the power of the mind. Modern research now confirms what spiritual teachers have known for centuries. The mind-body connection is real and profound. One of Fox's favorite healing affirmations was, "I am the perfect expression of life, love, light, and liberty." Repeating this phrase regularly helps shift the unconscious from a state of fear and limitation to one of wholeness and harmony. Healing also involves forgiveness of oneself and others. Holding on to resentment or guilt blocks the flow of divine energy. Releasing these burdens clears the way for restoration. Fox encouraged individuals to see themselves as already healed, even in the face of symptoms. By holding this vision steadily in the mind, the unconscious begins to respond, initiating the process of recovery. Of course, healing may not always come instantly or in the way we expect, but with patience, persistence, and faith, remarkable transformations are possible. Section 5. Prosperity and Abundance. Just as the unconscious can restore health, it can also bring prosperity. Fox taught that lack and poverty are not inevitable conditions, but states of consciousness that can be changed. The key to abundance lies in recognizing that we live in an abundant universe. There is enough for everyone, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. However, many people unconsciously sabotage their own success by holding limiting beliefs about money. Phrases like, "I'll never be rich," or "money is the root of all evil," become self-fulfilling prophecies. Fox urged people to examine their attitudes toward wealth and to replace scarcity-based thinking with gratitude and openness. He reminded his readers that money is simply a tool, a means of exchange that flows more freely when we treat it with respect and appreciation. Affirmations for prosperity might include, "I am open to receiving all good." "Wealth flows to me easily and effortlessly." "I give generously and receive abundantly." But again, affirmations must be backed by action. Fox never advocated passivity. He believed in the importance of doing your part, working diligently, managing resources wisely, and staying aligned with the flow of abundance. He also emphasized the law of giving. As we give love, support, and service to others, we activate the magnetic power of reciprocity. The universe responds in kind. Abundance, then, is not just about having more. It's about living fully, sharing joyfully, and trusting that your needs will always be met. Section 6. Overcoming fear and anxiety. Fear is perhaps the greatest obstacle to living from the God within. It clouds judgment, constricts possibility, and keeps us trapped in cycles of worry and doubt. Fox understood that fear often stems from false beliefs about separation, from God, from others, and even from ourselves. But once we realize that we are never alone, that the divine presence dwells within us always, fear begins to lose its grip. One of the most effective ways to counter fear, according to Fox, is to focus on the breath. Deep, rhythmic breathing calms the nervous system and brings awareness back to the present moment, the only time where peace is truly available. Another strategy is to consciously redirect the mind. Whenever fear arises, immediately replace it with a positive thought or affirmation. Don't dwell on what could go wrong. Focus instead on what you know to be true. Fox often cited the biblical verse, "Perfect love casts out fear." He interpreted this as a call to live from love rather than fear. When we choose love as our guiding principle, we align with the highest aspect of ourselves, the Christ within. Additionally, he encouraged people to face their fears directly. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Each time we do so, we weaken fear's hold and strengthen our connection to inner strength. Remember, the unconscious mind cannot distinguish between real danger and imagined threat. That's why it's so important to guard the contents of your mind. Fill it with courage, hope, and trust, and you will find yourself walking through life with confidence and grace. Section 7. Relationships and the Divine Connection. Our relationships reflect our relationship with ourselves and with the divine. When we operate from a place of inner wholeness, our interactions with others become more harmonious, loving, and fulfilling. Fox taught that conflict arises when we project our own unresolved issues onto others. Instead of blaming or trying to change people, we are called to look inward and heal whatever needs healing within. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, communication, and the recognition that everyone is on their own spiritual journey. We do not need to control others. We need only to be our best selves. One of Fox's most powerful insights was that love is not conditional. True love does not depend on another person meeting our expectations. It flows freely from a place of inner security and spiritual alignment. He often reminded people that no one can make you unhappy unless you allow it. Your peace comes from within, not from other people's behavior. When dealing with difficult relationships, Fox suggested prayer, not as petition, but as alignment. Send love, light, and understanding to those who challenge you. Release judgment and open your heart. Often, this shift in energy transforms the situation without a single word spoken. Ultimately, every relationship is an opportunity to grow closer to the divine. Whether joyful or challenging, each encounter teaches us something valuable about ourselves and our capacity for love. Section 8. Living from the Christ Within. Fox's central teaching was that we are not separate from God. We are expressions of God, here to manifest divine love and wisdom in the world. This is the meaning of the phrase, Christ within. It is not exclusive to Christianity, but refers to the indwelling divinity present in all beings. Living from the Christ within means making choices based on love, truth, and integrity. It means seeing beyond appearances and recognizing the sacredness in everyone and everything. It also means taking responsibility for your thoughts, words, and actions. You are the co-creator of your reality. What you put out into the world returns to you multiplied. Fox encouraged people to meditate daily on the presence of God within. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, I am one with the divine. I am guided, protected, and provided for. This simple practice changes everything. It centers you in your true identity, dissolves illusion, and empowers you to live with purpose and clarity. As you continue to deepen your awareness of the God within, you will find that problems seem smaller, solutions appear more readily, and joy becomes your natural state. You were never meant to suffer or struggle. You were created to express the fullness of divine life here on earth. Conclusion. Awakening the God within. In closing, let us remember that the journey to self-realization is not about becoming something you are not. It is about remembering who you truly are. Emmet Fox's teachings invite us to awaken to the power of the unconscious mind, to recognize it not as a shadowy recess, but as the throne room of the soul. Here, in the depths of our being, we connect with the infinite intelligence that guides and sustains all life. By practicing affirmations, cultivating faith and imagination, embracing healing, prosperity, and love, we align ourselves with the divine current flowing through all things. Each day offers a new opportunity to step more fully into the light of our true nature. And as we do, we become radiant examples of what is possible when one chooses to live from the God within. May this chapter serve as both a guide and an inspiration. May you walk forward with courage, clarity, and an unshakable knowing that you are loved, supported, and infinitely capable. The kingdom of heaven is indeed within you. Now go forth and claim it. Audiobook style. Transcript. The God Within. The Gospel of the Unconscious. Emmet Fox. 15,000 words, ready for audio recording. Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the surface of your thoughts? Not just the fleeting worries or passing joys, but the deep, silent presence that seems to hum beneath everything you do? There is something powerful waiting for you there. Something ancient, wise, and full of life. And it holds the key to transforming your life from the inside out. Today we're going to explore a timeless message, one that speaks directly to the soul. A message brought to the modern world by a man named Emmet Fox, a teacher whose words have helped millions rediscover the divine spark within. His teachings center around one central idea, that the unconscious mind is not a mystery to be feared, but a gateway to God. Let's start by understanding what the unconscious mind really is. Many people think of it as the part of us that stores old memories or controls automatic bodily functions. But Fox saw it differently. He taught that the unconscious is the part of us that listens when we are silent, heals when we surrender, and creates when we believe. It is the bridge between the human and the divine. Think of the unconscious like a vast ocean beneath the surface of your awareness. The waves on top, the conscious thoughts, are constantly shifting. But down below in the deep waters is where the real power lies. That's where your beliefs, your values, your deepest truths reside. And it's from this place that your life unfolds. Now, if you've ever tried to change a habit or break a pattern, you know how stubborn the unconscious can be. That's because it doesn't respond to logic alone. It responds to emotion, repetition, and belief. So, if you want to change your life, you have to learn how to speak the language of the unconscious. And that's where Emmet Fox's teachings shine. He showed us that we can communicate with the unconscious through something very simple: affirmations. An affirmation is a positive statement that declares something as true, even before it appears in your life. For example, if you want better health, you might say, "I am strong, healthy, and full of vitality." If you want more peace, you might say, "I am calm, centered, and at ease." But Fox didn't just suggest repeating these phrases casually. He taught that affirmations must be spoken with conviction, felt deeply, and repeated regularly. Because it's not just about saying the words, it's about planting them in the soil of your unconscious mind, where they can take root and grow. And when they do, your life begins to change. Because the unconscious mind doesn't question what you tell it. It simply goes to work, bringing your thoughts into reality. So imagine the possibilities when you fill your mind with thoughts of love, health, abundance, and peace. Imagine what happens when you stop telling yourself that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, and start declaring that you are whole, you are loved, you are capable of anything. That's the transformation Fox invites us into. But affirmations alone aren't enough. They need to be supported by something else: faith. Not the kind of faith that says, "I hope this works out," but the kind that says, "I know it already is." Faith, according to Fox, is the certainty that what you desire is already yours in the spiritual realm. It's the ability to hold the vision of your ideal life, even when the evidence around you says otherwise. He often quoted Jesus' words, "All things are possible to him who believes." And he believed those words deeply, because he had seen them work in his own life and in the lives of countless others. Faith isn't about ignoring reality. It's about seeing a deeper reality, the one that exists beyond what the eyes can see. It's about trusting that the universe is on your side, that the divine intelligence that created you is still guiding you, moment by moment. And the more you trust, the more you'll see proof of that guidance showing up in your life. Alongside faith, Fox emphasized the importance of imagination. Because imagination is the creative power of the mind. It allows you to see the future before it arrives. And when you combine imagination with faith, you create a powerful force for change. Picture yourself already healed, already successful, already at peace. Feel what it would be like to live that reality. And let that feeling guide your thoughts and actions. Because when you truly believe in something and can feel it as already true, you begin to act as if it's already happening. And that's when the magic starts to unfold. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful applications of these principles: healing. Fox was a firm believer that illness is not punishment, nor is it random. He taught that sickness often begins in the mind, through negative thinking, suppressed emotions, or unresolved trauma. And if illness begins in the mind, then healing must begin there too. He encouraged people to use affirmations not just for general well-being, but for specific ailments. For instance, someone struggling with anxiety might say, "I am peaceful and secure. I trust in the goodness of life." Someone recovering from surgery might say, "My body is healing perfectly. Every cell is responding to divine love." But he also stressed the importance of forgiveness, because holding on to anger, resentment, or guilt poisons the mind and the body. Letting go of these burdens is essential for true healing. And again, none of this replaces medical care. Fox never suggested abandoning doctors or treatments. He simply said that combining spiritual practices with traditional medicine can accelerate healing and enhance overall well-being. So whether you're dealing with physical pain, emotional wounds, or chronic illness, know that you have the power to influence your condition from within. Now, what about prosperity? Many people struggle with money. They feel stuck in debt, worried about bills, or frustrated by a lack of opportunities. But Fox taught that lack is not a fact. It's a mindset. He reminded his followers that we live in an abundant universe. There is enough for everyone, not just in terms of money, but in love, joy, creativity, and fulfillment. But sometimes we block the flow of abundance with limiting beliefs. Thoughts like, "I'll never be rich," or "money is evil," or "I don't deserve success," keep us trapped in scarcity. Fox encouraged people to examine their beliefs about money and replace them with thoughts of abundance and gratitude. He taught that money is simply a tool, a means of exchange that flows more easily when we treat it with respect and appreciation. Affirmations for prosperity might include things like, "I am open to receiving all good," or "I give generously and receive abundantly," or "I am grateful for the constant flow of abundance in my life." But again, affirmations must be backed by action. Fox never promoted passivity. He believed in working hard, managing resources wisely, and staying aligned with the flow of prosperity. And above all, he emphasized the law of giving, because the more you give, the more you receive. It's a fundamental law of the universe. So if you want more in your life, start by giving more. Whether it's time, attention, kindness, or support, watch how the universe responds in kind. Now, what about fear? Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to living from the God within. It makes us doubt ourselves, second-guess our decisions, and retreat from the world. But Fox taught that fear is based on false beliefs, beliefs that we are separate, vulnerable, or powerless. The truth is, you are never alone. The divine presence is always with you, guiding you, protecting you, loving you. And when you realize that, fear begins to lose its grip. One of the most effective ways to combat fear, according to Fox, is to focus on your breath. Take slow, deep breaths. Feel the air entering your lungs, filling you with life. Then release it slowly, letting go of tension and worry. Breathing grounds you in the present moment, the only place where peace is truly possible. Another strategy is to redirect your thoughts. Whenever fear arises, immediately replace it with a positive thought or affirmation. Don't dwell on what could go wrong. Focus instead on what you know to be true. And finally, face your fears head-on. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the choice to move forward despite it. Each time you do, you strengthen your connection to the God within. Now, Let's turn to relationships. Our relationships reflect our inner world. When we are at peace within, our relationships tend to be more harmonious. When we carry inner turmoil, it shows up in our interactions with others. Fox taught that conflict often comes from projecting our own unresolved issues onto others. Instead of blaming or trying to change people, we are called to look inward and heal whatever needs healing within. Love, he said, is not conditional. It doesn't depend on another person meeting your expectations. It flows freely from a place of inner security and spiritual alignment. And no one can make you unhappy unless you allow it. Your peace comes from within, not from other people's behavior. When dealing with difficult relationships, Fox suggested sending love and light, not as manipulation, but as a sincere offering. Often, this subtle shift in energy can transform the entire dynamic, because ultimately, every relationship is an opportunity to grow closer to the divine. Now, let's return to the central theme of this entire discussion, the God within. Fox's greatest insight was that we are not separate from God. We are expressions of God, here to manifest divine love and wisdom in the world. This is what he meant by the Christ within, not a literal identification with Jesus, but a recognition that the divine presence lives within every human being. Living from the Christ within means making choices based on love, truth, and integrity. It means seeing beyond appearances and recognizing the sacredness in everyone and everything. It means taking responsibility for your thoughts, words, and actions, because you are the co-creator of your reality. What you put out into the world returns to you, multiplied. Fox encouraged people to meditate daily on the presence of God within. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, remind yourself, I am one with the divine. I am guided, protected, and provided for. This simple practice changes everything. It centers you in your true identity. It dissolves illusion. It empowers you to live with purpose and clarity. As you continue to deepen your awareness of the God within, you will find that problems seem smaller. Solutions appear more readily. Joy becomes your natural state. You were never meant to suffer or struggle. You were created to express the fullness of divine life here on earth. So in conclusion, remember this. The journey to self-realization is not about becoming something you are not. It's about remembering who you truly are. Emmet Fox's teachings invite you to awaken to the power of the unconscious mind, to recognize it not as a shadowy recess, but as the throne room of the soul. There, in the depths of your being, you connect with the infinite intelligence that guides and sustains all life. By practicing affirmations, cultivating faith and imagination, embracing healing, prosperity, and love, you align yourself with the divine current flowing through all things. Each day offers a new opportunity to step more fully into the light of your true nature. And as you do, you become a radiant example of what is possible when one chooses to live from the God within. The kingdom of heaven is indeed within you. Now go forth and claim it.